I grew up in the western part of the Solomons, where the tsunami happened. Every building was damaged, and that was the whole village. So it actually doesn't look like the village that we used to know. The highest death toll is from my village, 21 people that were killed during the tsunami. During the tsunami, we have all our fishing boats out in the ocean. So when they all came back, we share all the fish instead of selling them to hold us for a couple of days.
So when I saw the images come through from the northern New South Wales floods at the beginning of this year, it was quite clear to me that the challenges that the communities were facing were not that different from the challenges that the communities in Solomon Islands face. When there is a disaster, it's the community who is first gonna try to help themselves. So they are the first responders by default. But very soon there needs to be help and resources from the provincial or ward or national level. And it's not always a given that those connections are in place. Our colleagues in Solomon Islands, they create those connections. They work with the communities to improve the community's preparedness to act at the time of disaster.
So I have been through a disaster myself. When we do awareness of the communities, I use my experience to convince them. Because most of the time, what I speak of is what actually I experience. Yeah? Kolosulu village, it's situated way up in the mountain. So the most risks that they are facing is around heavy rainfall and landslides. And the next one is cyclone, especially strong winds, because they are actually up high, they are very exposed. Yeah? We set up a disaster committee for each village, and these disaster committees are recognized by the government. We identify all risks in the communities, and then we map out the risks in the communities. And then we come back to like a simulation exercise. So we want to make sure that the responsibilities, the roles that they have been highlighting, they act upon. So that's actually what is happening during the simulation exercise.
Community influencers and community leaders play a key role in how the communities accept and take on board the information from the health authorities. Communication lines that were established during the disaster already were used for disseminating COVID messages to the communities.
Just before the outbreak of the COVID, we start to inform our communities that, okay, we have this sickness coming over soon. So we have to prepare for that as well.
The fact that our teams know the communities, have a personal relationship with the community leaders, definitely played an enabling role for passing these community and COVID safety messages to the communities. The Pacific is definitely one of the most vulnerable regions in the world. At this stage, we are talking about adaptation, so the community is needing to adapt to the impact of climate change.
We cannot actually escape from this. The only thing we can do is we can mitigate the risks from climate change. The more awareness they have, the more information they have, they can better prepare. Usually what we did during simulation is that we do a narrative documentation of the simulation exercise. But then Ernest, our comms officer, came up with that idea. He said, why not we try something like a film? Oibola community, they have this like a small local theater group. So we asked them about this initiative, and they were so happy about it.
I went and looked at the film and I was like, what is this piece of art? It was just beautiful. So basically the film tells the story of the Oibola community in face of approaching disaster, and really tells the story like how the community-based disaster management works in practice.
Once we just stand on the film, people just all coming together, and then excited about watching the film. And then when we're done with the film, we continue with our activities. So that is how we are doing it right now.